In today's video, we're going to be discussing what maybe you should do and things you could consider if you already have a bachelor degree and you are thinking of becoming a nurse and you're like, I don't know if I want my ADN or going into an accelerated BSN program. I'll offer you some insight of what I did in that situation and give you some tips and things to think about if you are making this decision yourself. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Liz. I'm a family nurse practitioner now, but like I said before, I did make the choice. I went and got my bachelor's in something else and then changed my mind and decided I want to be a nurse, but it was too late. And I kind of had to figure out, how am I going to make this work? So I feel you. I get where you're coming from when you're like, I don't even know where to go from here. I hope I can clear that up for you today. Okay, so a little bit of my background just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from. I have a bachelor's degree in neuropsychology, which is great. Unfortunately, I had then decided that I wanted to be a nurse, and that's not very helpful there. I did an accelerated nursing program to get me from that degree to my BSN, or my Bachelor of Science in Nursing. If you're unfamiliar with what an accelerated BSN program is, I will leave a video down below where I talk a little bit about them, as well as my experience in them and kind of tips for surviving them, because they're a little bit intense. So if you need to pause this video and go watch that first so that this makes a little bit more sense, go ahead and do that, and I'll catch up with you later. Everyone else will just move right on along. Okay, so at this point, I'm assuming you have probably your bachelor's degree in something that is not nursing, and you have also decided that you would like to go to nursing school. And you are looking at the options of, do I want to go to an accelerated BSN program, or do I want to go and get my ADN in nursing and then probably bridge from ADN to BSN? Now, I will say in this video, I'm going to assume that your end goal is a BSN, and your end goal might not be a BSN. In my experience, you are much more hireable and can work in a lot more places if you have your BSN. So for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna pretend that BSN is your goal. If BSN is not your goal, by all means, disregard that and just go ADN. You might live in an area that hires a lot of ADN nurses. I have not lived in those areas, so I always recommend people get their BSN as their end goal. That way they can work in any situation they really want to, versus being stuck where a hospital's like, oh, we don't hire ADN nurses, even though you're trained the same, and it's a whole disaster of our nursing school situation. So just moving forward, we're gonna go with that assumption that your end goal is BSN. And like I said, if it's not, that's totally fine. Just kind of go for your ADN and don't get your BSN. You know what I mean? You're probably not watching this video if that is you. I also have a video comparing ADN versus BSN and kind of figuring out which might be right for you. I will leave that link down below in case that would be helpful. But if that is you and you've decided, I want my Bachelor of Science in Nursing, here's the number one question you have to keep in the back of your mind. What is more important to you, your money or your time? If money is more important to you and you want to spend as little as possible in order to obtain your nursing license, then going to the ADN route is absolutely going to be more economical. You have to do your prereqs no matter what. You're probably going to do those at a community college because that's cheaper. You're going to have to do that for your accelerated BSN program or your ADN. If you are still in college and you are planning on tacking on one of these programs after, sometimes you can wrap up your prereqs within your original degree. That's how I did it. It was a little bit easier. If not, you're going to be spending a few semesters doing those prereqs. Obviously, then your next choice is, which one am I going to go to, an ADN or an accelerated BSN? And if we were trying to save money, an ADN is always going to, almost always, I guess I should say, is almost always going to be cheaper. However, the cost of that is time. So your ADN program is then going to be 2 years probably. And then you're going to have to bridge to your BSN because, like I said, with our running goal, we're going to try to get to BSN. However, you could be working a job while you're bridging from ADN to BSN, and a lot of those programs are online. So it's not quite as difficult in terms of scheduling because it's online, and that would absolutely be the more affordable option. One perk of going the ADN route that would additionally save you more money is when you finish your ADN program 2 years after finishing your prereqs, you can get a job as a nurse after you pass the NCLEX. If your employer reimburses you with tuition, you could then get some of your BSN, your ADN to BSN bridge, paid for, saving you further money. That bridge is probably going to be, sometimes it's around a year, sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little less, depending on the program. So you're looking at 3 years overall after your prereqs to obtain your BSN, but you've saved a lot of money. Second option, you do your prereqs and you decide you want to just get the BSN as quickly as you possibly can and be done. This was me. I was like, I just want to be done. I just want to go for it and not worry about it. That is why I chose the BSN, and that would be your option. It's usually programs ranging from a year to 18 months is the typical timeline of a accelerated BSN program. So your whole timeline after prereqs would be a year and a half versus 3 years. Again, you pay for that because accelerated BSN programs are not cheap. Mine was around 50 grand. Some things to think about here as well are loans. Most loans, if you took out federal loans for your undergrad, they will not give them to you again because they look at you and they say, we've already helped you pay for a bachelor's, and why do you want another one? And they don't understand that you changed your mind and that this is okay. They don't get that, so you can't really get another loan through them. You have to get a private loan. I got mine through Sally Mae. I have a whole video talking about like my loans and how I'm paying them off. I'll leave that link down below, but that is something to keep in the back of your mind, is you will probably have to go for some private loans if you are going this route and you're not paying out of pocket. But it's quicker, so there's the trade-off there. Now let's say for a second you don't care about the BSN part at all. You're like, I just want my nursing license. I know we said we were gonna work in that model, but it's fine, we'll detour a little. You would shave about 6 months of time off with an accelerated nursing program because like I said, they're usually 12 months to 18 months. If you did the 12-month one, which is hardcore, you would shave a whole year off because remember with our ADN program, they were usually 2 years. So either way, the BSN, accelerated BSN program is almost always quicker, but it's much more expensive than the ADN program over here. So really it just matters what's more important to you. There's no wrong choice here. There's not a path. I feel like in a lot of nursing stuff, there's like really negative, like yikers. People are like, you chose that and this is the right path. There's no wrong path, friends. Whatever fits your life circumstance, maybe you want to go a little bit slower. So the ADN route is more appealing because you don't have the time to dedicate to a super intense accelerated program because that is a full-time job. And the ADN pace maybe you're like a parent, you have kids and you're still working because you can't just not work. That might fit into your life a whole lot better than an accelerated BSN program. So just keep those things in the back of your mind. People might try to tell you you're doing it wrong. Friends, you're not doing it wrong. You're just doing it your own way, and that's okay. Whatever works for you in your life at the end of the day is the most important. Forget them. When you're in like a few years, when you're a nurse and you're doing your thing and you have a job and you're loving it and they're still over there being like cranky, you're the one that's winning, not them. All right, guys, and that is pretty much how I approached that whole ADN versus accelerated BSN program. If you already have a degree, hopefully this helped you kind of think this through and gave you a little bit more of a direction to go in. I do not regret my choice at all. I've known many people who did the ADN and then later bridged online ADN to BSN as a second degree, and they don't regret their choice at all. So really, like I said, you cannot go wrong. I will be making in the future a video about an entry-level master's versus like an accelerated BSN program for people who already have a bachelor to get them into nursing. But I didn't want to combine that with this one because I thought I would get convoluted. So that will come later. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, or you want to see that one, make sure to subscribe and hit your notification bell so you always know when I post a video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys. If you guys have done any programs like this, or if you've met this decision and made it and like you're a few years down the line and you want to share your experience or tips, please do so down below. I would love to learn from you, and everyone else would love to learn from you as well. Hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.